Jared Krause. You had an awesome event recently. How long ago now? A week and a half?
Yeah, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Okay, almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, what was the title?
The title was Attract, Capture, Convert.
Yep.
And it was about just that. It was about how to attract ideal customers to your website, capture their interest and their contact information, and then convert them into leads and then sales.
Okay. So, this was the first event you had, and it landed you at least one paying client maybe, but also a paying client, and
Yep.
maybe a couple more.
Yep.
So, if you were going to go back, and for someone who's scheduling an event who wants to know like what worked or how to do it, or like what was the advice, the things that worked for you towards not only having it, well, first of all, get yourself to have it, because you struggled with that for a while.
I did.
You resisted.
Yeah, I totally resisted.
Not taking my advice.
Yeah.
You resisted, but you had it, and it worked out really well.
And it was awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a couple of things. One was, if you're having trouble figuring out what you want your event to be, which I was, ask some people to help you. Like what ended up making the tipping point for me figuring out what I actually wanted to do was I sat down like 3 people in the mastermind group and said, hey, what do you, let me tell you about the stuff that I know how to do and the things that I think that I'm good at, and just tell me like which of those things seem interesting to you, like which of those things would be valuable to you.
Simple but brilliant.
Yeah, and then they told me, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant, that's amazing, and it was like really exciting because like suddenly it was really clear to me what I had to offer and a way to package it that would just be super useful to them. And it was exactly this. It was that, I have all this knowledge about specific stuff, and a lot of people don't have it. So if I just outlined that and did an event about and gave that knowledge away, they'd find it useful. So that's what I did.
Okay. And actually, when you held the webinar, in terms of what worked when you actually held the webinar, because this is a webinar slides, you use dimdim.com to share some slides and.
So it worked. DimDim worked pretty well. It wasn't perfect. It was like it dropped some people, and it was like, but they're all kind of imperfect. It worked pretty well.
Yeah.
And I did like a fair amount of preparation. I didn't go.
What was your biggest fear before you held it?
My biggest fear about it was.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Just keep talking.
Yeah. All right.
Talk to the camera.
All right, I'm gonna talk to the camera here. So my biggest fear about having the event before I had it was that. That is very distracting, I'll tell you what. But my biggest fear about it was that I guess that I wouldn't give people something that they wanted, that nobody would show up for it.
They wouldn't value it.
They wouldn't value it.
Yeah. Okay. And then,
that kind of stuff.
All right. And so now looking back, what would you tell that person who's scared of those issues?
Just go, like really go. Don't stop. Go, market it. Push on it, like just do everything.
Yeah.
And do it right away.
Yeah. And then, in terms of you've got a client from it.
Yep.
First one, maybe a couple more coming potentially. Mm-hmm. So what do you think led to you getting that client?
There's a couple things.
Yep.
I think one was that I actually did the webinar and I evidenced, that was kind of the main thing, honestly, that I did it. And the second thing was that I kind of. It's not, what I'm doing now is not like a totally perfect match, but it's so much closer to something I'm passionate about, because it's like, what I realized is I really like to help people, and this was a way that I really can genuinely help people.
Yeah.
And so it was fun for me. And so when I put it together, I had this combination of like, oh, this is fun, and I know how to do it. And I think that then when people watched the webinar, it was obvious that there was something I knew about and that was fun for me, and that created a relatively attractive combination.
Yeah. Did you have like a next step? Did you have an offer or invitation? So at the end of the webinar,
I did.
How did she know like how to hire you or what to do? Or
I presented packages. It was like one of the last things I did, but I just put together packages, and I said like, if you think that you can do everything that I just showed you yourself, please go do it, and I would love to hear your feedback and how it works for you, and just all that stuff. And then if you would like a little bit of help, here's a package that I can give you a little bit of help with. And then if you want a lot of help, like you want me to do all this stuff for you, here's a package and I'll just do all of it for you.
Which is like $1,200. How much?
It ranged depending on what they needed, but it's between like $1,000 a month and $5,000 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Any last words of advice for people who are hesitating or struggling with an event they're having coming up? Or
force yourself to do it. Force yourself.
Throw the rock.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.